What is up? Welcome to the NBA Rundown. Still having technical difficulties in the Astaire household, but not more difficult than the Kings front office. Travis, I would say that I'm really excited about today to do the show. And I'll tell you what, at 10 a.m., I really was. Love having you on. Love talking to Tyler. But boy, I got some terrible news today, Travis, and it wasn't the CJ McCollum trade. I'll let you weigh in first before I just completely vent and go off. I mean, on a scale of like 1 to 10, how bad is this trade?
I don't think it's I don't know. I'm not saying it's like the greatest trade, but I don't have like this take that it's like awful, like it's like the worst thing in the world. Like I do worry Sabonis is like kind of more of an empty bucket and just like empty stats than I want. Not empty bucket, I meant the empty stats thing, but basically like I think it's not like it could be worse spread. I mean, they could have done way worse, right? I mean, I guess you wanted to keep Halliburton. I like Fox a little, but I do worry about like Fox wanting to be there. And like, I definitely have some concerns of that. Why didn't they give away Fox? Like, could they just not get anything else? Like, how come they couldn't just do Fox for like Sabonis? Why didn't they do that?
From what I was reading, that Indiana had no interest in that at all. Okay. And I think, Fox probably tanked his value here by basically, 9 this season.
I don't know if I'm hanging on to Fox a little too long right now and like what I think he can be, but like I didn't see like a huge difference in like the difference between Halliburton and Fox. I thought they're both fine. They both need to be next to like good defenders, which like Halliburton's going to really thrive with the Pacers next to like a good defender like Brogdon. That's going to be very valuable to him. So I think it's better for the Pacers technically long term, but I don't know what's going to happen with the Kings. I mean, Kings are going to Kings. It just happens. And it's better than what they were. I think it's better than what the situation was spread. I don't know. I mean, it was worse, but I guess you are giving up Halliburton, who you are really, really high on. I'm just like, I think he's good, but I don't know, like what is his ceiling? That is my question. Like I've heard people talk about him. He could be like a top guard in the league. And I don't know if he could be like a top guard, but maybe I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, I think he could personally. And here's the one thing is how are the Kings going to stop anyone? The defense was bad before. So now we traded for a bad defensive big and we got rid of one of our best defenders, one of our best shooters. I don't know what's going on. Tyler, what do you think? How should I be taking this?
I think it's bad. I mean, you traded away a guy on a rookie deal who's 21 years old, making $10 million.
Yeah, the rookie deal's good. That's a great point, Tyler.
Yeah, and it's like I know Mangone pointed out it's like maybe they couldn't have got rid of Fox because he is $60 million. But Sabonis' contract is up after this year, right? Or is it?
He has 2 more years left, so
okay,
we'll have him until he's 27, and then he gets to go join a real franchise.
So you basically traded away your one good draft pick in the last few years for a 2-year rental on a big guy.
I'm such a sucker for that situation where you get the young guy on like the good deal. So that is a really great point. Man, that is unfortunate. But the Kings are just in this like such long rebuild. Like I don't know. I feel like they have all these pieces and like they could like maybe next year they try and get rid of Sabonis like again and like they try and flip that to something. But then it turns into like the guy that's trying to flip like the paperclip into like a Corvette and it's like going the other way where it's like not that you had a Corvette, but you had something decent and then you turn into a paperclip. That's what could end up happening. Kind of happened for Portland a little bit with Norman Powell too.
Yeah, I mean, to go off your rebuild analogy, right, Travis? It's like our house caught on fire, but rather than like leveling the foundation, we're just trying to, rebuild around like these burnt 2x4s everywhere and this terrible sheetrock rather than just leveling the thing to the ground and getting rid of it. I mean, we thought Kings first half overs were good before. I mean, this is just going to be, unbelievable. I mean, hey, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully the whole fan base is wrong, right? Maybe this turns out to be a great deal. And the only bright thing I would say is that McNair didn't give up any of the picks, right? Because to me, he's 2 for 2 so far. I think Mitchell's a good player. And obviously, Monty McNair was the one who drafted Halliburton, to put us in this position to begin with. But the guy's currently like 11th in assists in the NBA. He's shooting over 40% from 3, shooting 43% catch and shoot, right? Fox can't really shoot from the outside. Sabonis can't really shoot from the outside. I mean, there's going to be absolutely no spacing on this team. Tyler, I'm pretty upset. Do you have anything else from here for this Kings trade before we move on?
I mean, throw salt on the wound. They threw Buddy Hield in like he was just a throw-in.
I know. Imagine making him a throw-in. Like, gosh,
like
you
could have raped the Lakers for him, and they threw him into a trade for Sabonis.
Yeah,
and gave away Halliburton on top of it. Like, it's bad.
It's just constantly like short term, it's like they're constantly shooting for that 8th seed. Like if we get the 8th seed, they're going to act like the city deserves a parade rather than rebuilding and doing it right. It's just really disappointing. Let's talk about more throw-ins though, Tyler, because I felt the Portland Trailblazers kind of did the same thing, right? When they threw Covington in the Powell trade, and then it's like they threw Nance in today with CJ McCollum. They're just given rid of everything. Now, I personally thought that trade was kind of neutral here, with the idea that Alexander Walker could end up being something good. And you do get a first-round pick for it, and you do get off CJ's contract, which, I mean, $33 million for CJ McCollum. I mean, that's a net negative as well. We'll start with you, Tyler. At least I can be neutral on this one. How do you feel about the Pelicans trading for CJ McCollum?
I mean, it's one of those things. They trade for him because they're playing well with that big lineup they've been using. And they're just praying to God that Zion's going to step back on the floor for them and just be that piece that pushes them over the top, gets them into the playoff picture. But we all know he's going to demand his way out either this year or next year. He's not going to re-sign after that rookie deal, I don't think. So this could blow up in their face. But again, they didn't give away a lot to get him there. So if it doesn't work out, it's not like they gave away like a Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I mean, it's just too weird. Two teams this is where the plans kind of distorted things, I think, Travis.
I think that Josh Hart helps Portland's defense a lot. They need
and he only makes $12 million a year, right? So he's a good deal. He's definitely a net positive contract. But Travis, right? We're speaking of two teams that are just basically going. I mean, I don't know, all in, right? Because we didn't give up a draft pick, and we did at least give away. We're getting an all-star for who I think someone will be an all-star here on the Kings side. But the Pelicans, right, taking on a $30 million contract, giving away a draft pick to what? Go be the 8th seed? Kind of feels short-sighted as well. What are your thoughts on CJ McCollum as a New Orleans Pelican?
Well, it's a short-sighted decision to hopefully make a long-term decision happen, right? Like keeping Zion happy, which we'll see. We'll see if he wants to end up staying. We'll see if he ends up going to New York. I don't know. CJ McCollum's not a bad player either. So I don't hate it for both sides. The Josh Hart thing makes sense for what Portland is trying to do. Portland is trying to do a soft rebuild where it still revolves around Dame. Seems like they want to be around Nurkic as well. Those are the building pieces. So they're trying to find filler guys. And then I'm assuming from the fillers, maybe they try and make a big splash and get a big player either in free agency or via trade somehow. I'm not sure, but it seems like the best way to do it would be maybe free agency for them, because I think salary-wise they could have it. But ultimately, I don't like what Portland's doing. I think that they should just full-on rebuild. I think they should just ship everyone out and just rebuild completely. I don't like the situation they're in. But they have Simons behind that was behind Dame and McCollum, which they talked about. Actually, they when they drafted him, they said that Simons was their best prospect that they had, even over Dame and over everyone. So they really are very high on Simons, and we'll see how it shakes out. I don't love what Portland's doing. I think they should just do the full on, just destroy everything, rebuild it all. And maybe build it around, Simons, as crazy as that sounds, but you just wouldn't trade him. You'd probably just build him up and then trade him away and just kind of do the OKC thing. That's what I think Portland should do, but they're not doing that. And then the Pelicans, they're going to try what they can with what they got to keep Zion happy. And I think that's their plan right now. I mean, I don't know if it's going to work, but that is what they're trying to do. And getting CJ McCollum is definitely a big enough splash to help that compared to some of the other guys I thought they could get. So I think it works out for both sides, or at least it works out for both sides right now. We'll see if it actually comes to fruition, but I think the goals that they're having, it's a good start.
All right, and Tyler, I saw you laughing at that comment. The guy's obviously never heard of Bakersfield. He's never heard of Fresno. You got to be kidding me. just kick a man while he's down. Why don't you, Chris W? Travis, why do you think teams are so afraid to do the rebuild the proper way, right? Look at what Oklahoma City's doing. Look what Houston did, right? I mean, I personally, as a fan, would even though Houston is worse than the Kings, right? If they played on neutral, Kings are probably favored by after this trade, I'd say -3, -4. But I would rather go see the Houston team and all the promise that they have and watch these players develop. Why are teams so afraid of a full rebuild? It feels like fans are smarter now They understand what needs to be done. I mean, you go back to 10 years, when you read these guys on Twitter, their knowledge of the salary cap and how things work in the NBA, it's a whole different fan base. Why are teams so afraid to rebuild right? What do you think, Travis?
Well, it's hard to give up the guy that's like, you literally have a star that like says, I want to stay here and win a title for you. So like, how do you ship him out of town? It's just a difficult thing to do. I don't think it's that difficult. You just do it. And, you take the backlash from the fans and you're just very open about what you're doing. You say, these are our goals. Like, this is what we're trying to do. Like, we didn't want to get rid of Dame, but we want to see him flourish somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And we know that this did not work out. We failed, but we're going to try and build this way up the right way to bring back winning culture to Portland. That's just a simple way to do it. I think you can obviously, make enough moves, or you can probably bring a decent team that, is exciting and makes like the first round or second round. And you relive the Dame days. You see him wave to the crowd one last time, but like, who cares about that, man? Like, it's not worth it. Like, it's just simple. Get something for Dame while you can. That's what I would do. But I'm definitely more of like, hey, like if it's not the goal is to win a title, right? Like that's what you're trying to do. So the goal is to win a title. You're not playing to make the Western Conference Finals. You're not playing to make the second round. You've also been doing that. It's not like you've had like absolute misery for years. I understand franchises like the Kings, like, and I kind of said this with the Suns when they got Chris Paul, like, hey, like you've been in the basement for a little while. Like, let's just get out of it and then see what happens from there. Like, you're not in that situation, Portland. You've had some decent years. You've had some fun. Take a couple bad bumps, and then just hopefully the draft can kind of fall your way. And maybe, you have enough cap and guys come and it works out. That's what I would do. But
I mean, they got a few young guys that they could build around right now. Just like you said, Simons, Little will be back next year. He's out for the rest of this year. But talking about Dame, where do you guys think he could get traded to? Like, where's a good destination outside of?
He's not getting traded. I'm just saying. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting traded either. They already said they're going to build around him, but
if they were smart, they would do it in the offseason. They would, because teams change, right? So wait until the offseason.
Oh, no, he's definitely not getting traded by Thursday. But if he gets traded in the offseason, where the destinations we're thinking.
The league changes so much, I couldn't tell you. But I mean, if you could make like the Lakers is like an ideal destination, but like it's impossible to do with like Westbrook and contracts. Like you just have to see what the contract situations are. It just seems very difficult to make it work.
Miami?
I don't know. It's just tough.
What do you think about Miami?
I mean, all these teams have tough contract situations. Like, where would you? Who do you get rid of to fit him in under the cap on Miami?
Probably like a Lowry. Probably throw a Robinson. He's making a good bit of money.
But how on earth is like Portland signing up for that?
I mean, throw in a couple picks, another young guy, give him Yurtsevin.
No. It's just like it sounds great when you say Dame to Miami. Like, let's have like the first big debate. Like, but then when you try to match it up, it's just very difficult.
Give him Hero, Lowry.
Hero would be the guy that could like entice him a little, I think.
You could. I mean, Portland's pretty stupid. You might be able to bait him into Oladipo.
No,
really. I mean, yeah, maybe.
I mean, it's Portland we're talking about.
I think he only makes like $8 million.
If Miami could get him on the floor for one game and he put up like 28 points, instantly call Portland on the phone. They'll take him.
Oh wow! All right. Well, just so everybody knows, I mean, I'm not actually hiding my face on purpose. This is actually technical difficulties. I did have the webcam set up on that laptop, but like Tyler said, I guess laptops that are powered by hamster wheels aren't going to keep up in this new way. So it is technical difficulties.
He's got a brown paper bag over his head. He's like, all the fans in the stands.
But if there's any day for it to be fitting to not have to show my face, it would be on this day of mourning in Sacramento. We finally made a good draft pick. We finally found a guy that wants to be here. Finally got the piece to build around, and we choose to build around no defense. Russell Westbrook, great value version. De'Aaron. Oh my gosh. All right, let's jump into the games. Let's see. We'll start right away out because we have a lot. Honestly, if this was a shorter slate, I would lament with you guys for like a half hour about this, but we have a long slate. Maybe we'll double back if there's time. Let's start off with a banger, Travis. The Phoenix Suns catching 1 point in Philadelphia, taking on the 76ers, total of 217. The Suns blew the cover last night. That cover looked like they were in hand. It just looks like favorites were going to go like 20-0 against the spread over the last 3 days. And that kind of started, the little underdogs rolling back. Chicago gets the cover. as the Phoenix Suns fall apart. But at the end of the day, only the gamblers care. The Suns do not care because they got another win in the column. And when they're doing who gets home court advantage, they don't check your ATS records. Otherwise, the Thunder would be hosting playoff games. But the Suns have now moved to 21-5 on the road. They're on a back-to-back, heading to Philadelphia to take on the 76ers. In my mind, I think DeAndre Ayton, hey, this guy can cover Joel Embiid, right? Embiid can't take him out on the perimeter. He's too quick. He's strong enough not to get back down. But Embiid's had monster games against the Sixers. Against the Suns. So maybe I'm wrong about that assessment, going back and checking some of those box scores. I'm still not betting against Phoenix until they lose, though. So I'm going to take the Suns here. What do you think, Travis?
It's hard to bet against Phoenix, but I could see myself doing it today. I'm not like jumping to do it, but if I had to pick a side, I think my lean is the Sixers, but it's not a best bet. It's not something I've even wagered on. I had the Suns last night money line those spread on that Rams parlay. Those are going very well, and I have a lot today. So I'm gonna victory lap all the ones I got because I got some good ones based on like closing line value and all the trades that happened. So I'm excited about that. But I'm not really that excited to bet the Suns here in this spot. I think that. Talk about the Sixers, they play up and down in their competition. I think the Sixers kind of get the job done here today. But again, no strong leans. DFS-wise, probably doing my best to fade this game unless it's like Joel Embiid in tournaments. But it's a tough game to go to with all the value we have. With all these trades going on and guys sitting, like there's just so much value on the board where the only thing you could talk me into is like a Joel Embiid spend up, really. And that's it. Not much from the DFS perspective.
All right, I'm going to jump in and address this real quick. Don't compare Westbrook's to Fox. Yeah, I know because Westbrook's never quit on a team like Fox quit on the Kings this year. That's why we're mad at him. It felt like he quit this year. Anyways, Tyler, just had to address that real quick. We both like the Suns. Are you going to take the home team Sixers?
No. This is that spot where Phoenix does one of those things where go ahead and score your 40 points.
Yeah.
The next highest score is going to have like 12, if that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just going to lock everyone else down. They have the length to stop guys like Curry, Harris, Maxey. Chris Paul is just going to do the pick and roll with these guys too. Booker's going to absolutely kill this team. The Booker 30 plus and win is the way I'm approaching this game.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Phoenix's money line and plus money would be my two plays on this game.
What did he have last night? 38 against Chicago. I mean, the kid's been on fire. Travis, I know you don't think that Damian Lillard will get traded. Do you believe these Harden for Simmons rumors? And do you think that happens by Thursday?
I believe them, but I don't. It's hard to execute that trade. And then I think what'll end up happening is I think you'll see the Nets like get pretty close, and then they'll just end up saying, yeah, let's just ride this out and see what we can do. Like they can still hold Harden hostage for like the end of the year. I mean, his contract doesn't expire, right? Like
it does. He's an unrestricted free agent.
Okay, I didn't know if it did for sure. Yeah. Man, that is tough. But like, do you want to take on that Simmons contract? Because dealing that could be difficult. But I do think he's a good fit around them. I do think they definitely want Curry. Like, I would not make the deal without Curry. I also could see them trying to like make it a 3-team deal. Like sometimes I think this happens. Like you kind of have like the trade almost ironed out, and then you try and bring in a third team to like get greedy and get a little bit more, and then it just falls through, which I could see that happening. I mean, we've seen it with Boston, right? They did it with the Hayward and the Miles Turner stuff. So would not surprise me if that happened. Spread, you did make fun of Fox and say that he quit on the team. Well, if for some reason you're the point guard of a team, you're the cornerstone franchise piece, Spread, and then they just draft all these guards, aren't you a little tilted about the situation? Like, I'm hurt. Like,
but what did Aaron Rodgers do when that happened, right? He went out and won MVP. There's two ways to handle that.
Not everyone's Aaron Rodgers, Spread.
I know. Okay. But back to that trade, though. I would, from a fan's perspective, I would love to see it happen because I want to see this defensive. If you have Durant and Ben Simmons next to each other, right now, that's a defensive front court that you'd have to worry about. And what better team for Ben Simmons? Do you think that Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant are going to worry if Ben Simmons doesn't want to shoot? Kyrie Irving's going to say, more shots for me. I love playing next to you, kid. Let's go.
Yeah, I guess. I hate how he's like not like a hard worker.
When they're passing him the ball when he's wide open in the playoffs and he won't lay it in, they're going to get pissed.
The one thing that does work a lot is winning cures all. Like you could just bet on yourself and be like, hey, like if we win a title or if we get close, like Harden could be back. And also like the protocols could change in a year. It's not like this is like set in stone that Kyrie plays on the road for like the next 5 years or something like that. So they could make a bet on that as well. So that's why I don't think it's like set in stone that they make that trade, because winning cures all, and they have the 3 guys to get the job done. So,
Travis, you just reminded me another stupid part of this Kings trade. You realize that we traded for a guy who can't play in our home games too? Because Holiday's unvaccinated.
Oh, really?
This team is just so stupid.
No, I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
So stupid. I wish I had my camera on so you can see me just burying my face in my hands. All right, anything more on the Suns and the Sixers before we move on?
No, that's it for me.
All right, let's go. Travis, your team, we just talked about the Nets. The Celtics are laying 8.5 in Brooklyn. Why is that? Well, because Kyrie Irving can't play in Brooklyn. James Harden's still out with the hamstring issue. Boy, and that's where like all this gets, Fox's injury. Boy, is he really hurt or does he want to get traded? Harden, is he really hurt or does he want to get traded? I'm not a doctor. I don't know, but I do know the Celtics laying 8.5 in Brooklyn. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we the people in chat, he is saying, I'm going to be sick when Joey B puts up the Rams in a pack and smokes them. Well, listen here, we the people. I'm doing pretty good where I can make the hedge if I want to. I can. I don't know if I'm going to, though, man, because that offensive line is hot garbage for the Bengals. So we will see. If Joey B, does it, that's perfectly fine. Maybe I'll bet his overs. That way, if the overs hit, the Bengals probably win, and then maybe I could cash both tickets. Who knows? We'll have to see how that works out. But I got Rams and the Celtics tonight. I got that little parlay. I got it last night when it was 5.5, but I took the money line instead because I didn't know if Harden was going to play. I understand Harden, when you give him the opportunity just to do everything himself, that was like kind of the worry. So I said, let's just take the money line. The Celtics, they're one of the best defensive teams in the league. Don't look now spread, but as your franchise is tanking, mine is flourishing.
Yeah.
I don't understand how it is. We'll have to see if it holds up. We'll have to see how that plays out in the playoffs, because it does feel like they're like kind of doing like the old like regular season pounding lame teams. Like, actually, I haven't pulled up the schedule. Let's pull up the schedule real quick. So I'm very curious because they have been the best defensive team, I think, since December 26th.
Yeah. And it's funny because last week Dallas was that. Right. But the Celtics have just been putting up these huge performances the last week. They've overtaken the number 1 spot. This that's the fun with the small sample size.
These are all lame teams. Here,
they held Orlando to 86, right?
I swear they do this every year around the deadline. And
so they don't have to get traded.
It is right as they think about moving these guys, and then they all start playing good. And they're like, wait a minute, like maybe it's finally working. And then the deadline passes, and then they just go to shit together.
Here's the schedule. So we're just going to go through it. Minnesota, they lost. This is since the 26th. So Minnesota, they lost. They lost to the Clippers. Huge win against Phoenix. I mean, that's a really nice win. Orlando in overtime, they beat. They lost to San Antonio, lost to the Knicks, beat the Knicks, beat the Pacers, lost to the Sixers, beat the Bulls, which you could argue a Bulls win is nice, but that was on January 15th. That's not the same Bulls team. New Orleans, they won. They lost to Charlotte, lost to the Blazers, beat Washington, beat Sacramento by like 40. Atlanta, they 53. Lost to. New Orleans, Miami, Charlotte, Detroit, Orlando. It's just not that impressive. So
no, it's not.
I'm not buying this push, but you know what I am buying it from? A betting perspective. Like just keep betting the Celtics. I've been betting the Celtics, but I'm not buying it long term. I'm buying it from the perspective of they're playing good basketball right now. They're beating up all these bad teams, and I've been riding the train. So it's been pretty good. I'm not going to bet on them long term. I don't think this is a team that's just going to be great. There could be some good opportunity when they play some good teams coming up to buy on those teams that I'll be looking at as well. So I'm definitely interested in that. But this is a spot where if I get forced to pick something, I'd still pick the 8.5 because I don't believe in this Nets team, and this Celtics team is playing really great basketball right now, and I'm not going to bet against it.
Who's going to be the lead scorer on the Nets, right? You got to throw some in your lineup tonight, right, Travis?
Yeah, you have to consider them. Patty Mills, who's small forward and point guard eligible, is really nice. If Cam Thomas gets the start, he's obviously a ball handler that gets a nice little usage bump at 4.8K. The thing that's nice though about Patty Mills, that small forward eligibility is like massive, but he is 5'8". They are missing some big men where like Blake Griffin at 4'6", and like James Johnson at 3'6". He could like become a ball handler here. Like James Johnson is not afraid to shoot and not afraid to be the guy bringing up the ball. He'll grab the rebound and bring it up. It's just, so there are guys here, but you really need the starting lineup. That is very valuable with the Nets. So we'll likely have that in time, and I'm likely just fading the first game where I can see what that starting lineup is. And there's a ton of other starting lineups I need to see too, where this is going to be, it does feel like it's one of those nights where it could be a long night and a lot of adjusting that needs to be taking place, but you have to like some Nets, and you could like some Celtics as like run backs as like at the top if you wanted, but I don't think it's the best route to go. I think there's way better studs to go to on this slate instead.
Cam Thomas season. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, good chance it is. I mean, Patty Mills is probably the go-to guy, but for this game, I'm with Mangone. I'm taking it all the way up to the 8.5. I think Boston's going to eat them up here. You look at their stats over this stretch where they've been 7-3 of their last 10. They have the 8th field goal percentage, 6th in three-point attempts, and they're 5th in rebounds per game. You look at Brooklyn's defense, 26th in field goal percentage, 26th in rebounds per game. They get mauled by centers and power forwards. You got to think Robert Williams is going to eat them alive down here with no Claxton, no Aldridge, Millsap's out, no KD. Who's going to stop him from rebounding the ball? Nobody. I think he gets a double-double when they win, and that's plus 270. That's my favorite play in this game.
All right. I like it. Let's talk about the Fleecers, the Indiana Fleecers. I mean, the Indiana Pacers catching 12.5 against the Atlanta Hawks. Obviously 12.5 with all those players going out. And of course, the new additions will not be suiting up tonight in Atlanta. Atlanta team who has been playing well. They won 8 of their last 11, starting to come together. They had a lot of rumors swirling around them, but with all these moves being made, I don't know if anything gets done here. And I think they're fine running this, running this roster into the playoffs like they did last year. Maybe all the trade rumors were just to get this team to finally start playing up to their potential, and they have. Laying 12.5 is tough, but boy, this is a depleted Pacers team. What do you think, Travis?
Yeah, you need to know some of the news here of what's going to happen, like is Isaiah Jackson, is Malcolm Brogdon, Terry Taylor. That's all really valuable, but there could be a lot of good value on this Pacers side. So we need that news. That's going to be very important. Hopefully we'll get that. We might get that while I'm on the NBA Hardwood show on the Run Pure Sports channel. So be sure to check that out. That's going to be very valuable though. The Hawks side, and if Goga's like going to get run, like those Hawks big men have been playing really well, where I'm like, this is going to be a slate where there's a lot of good value, where maybe I don't go to like a Goga for sure. Depends on the starting lineup though. I like John Collins at 6'9". I think there's a lot of upside in this matchup for him. He's more of a tournament play. Trae Young at 9'8" always has some upside. And Kayvon Huerter, he's only 4.3K. Played 33 minutes against Dallas. He's going to start. You expect him to get a lot of run. And this is not really like a defense I'm scared of at all, where I think Huerter could have a big game. All these guys feel like, even Hunter, they all feel like guys you can mix and match throughout your DFS lineups, but not guys to prioritize. More like last guys in. If you're playing 150 lineups, you can take some stabs at these guys, but you could also make the case just to full fade it. And there's just so many spots on the slate where maybe you don't want to make your player pool too large. But this game is not one I'm ignoring. I'm definitely considering it on this slate. I need to have some more news, though. I think that's very important here on this one. And then betting-wise, going to be staying away from this one. And spread, I got Rams and Hawks money line already. I got that last night. I fell into them all. I fell into like all the perfect scenarios. It's amazing. So,
dude, I can't wait to see you on Sunday. I mean, if the Bengals go up like 14-0, we might need a live stream of your reaction. Well, I love how all in you are on this team. And boy, betting the team with the worst quarterback is definitely quite the.
I just value offensive line way too much. That pass rush is.
No, and normally I do too, but this Burrow kid, he just transcends analytics in my mind.
I love him. I'm a huge fan here. Huge Joe Burrow fan. He's done me well. He's won me a lot of money in DFS. But I value that offensive line a ton. It's very
and you could be right. And the good thing is you're not laying the points there, right? Because you're doing Rams money line all this time, right? So you're not worried about the
and I can go. I've got short enough odds where I can go Bengals and just like literally sit with probably like a profit and just like watch like with. I think I can. I've ran.
I think that's what I would do.
That could be what I do. Hoop has given me the suggestion too, but we got more. Don't worry. But wait, there's more spread. I got more of them later on.
I can't. You have to post all these tickets somewhere. I mean, like you're just in a bed of Rams money line tickets.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm leaving Colorado tonight, so I made sure to like make it a banger here going out. Like I'm gonna play some bets tonight, but I'm not gonna be in a bet. Well, I'll be in Florida, so I won't be in a betting state. But if I need to, I know a guy, right? I can get some action where I can get the hedge if I need to. But, I want to make it a banger here for the last couple.
If you don't know a guy, you can call Joey Work because we know that he knows a guy. Tyler, Hawks are minus 738 on the money line. How are you approaching this one?
I mean, they have no big men, so you got to think Clint Capella is going to eat him on the inside. He's played a little bad recently, but he should be able to get us 10 rebounds.
Do you worry about his minutes, Tyler? His minutes have just been so brutal.
Because the Okongwu was so good.
Yeah, Okongwu is eating into those minutes, but I mean, all these bigs should just fall into rebounds in this game. Like, the ball is just going to be theirs for the taking, unless it bounces 10 feet away from them.
It's one of those games where you could see Capella like in the first 4 minutes, like 6, 5, and 1, and you're like, what on earth is happening? Like,
yeah, and we're getting his double and win it like plus 280. So I think I'm going to take that too.
The Hawks fading the Red Rooster, Terry Taylor.
I like your Robert Williams one more for what it's worth.
Oh, definitely like the Robert Williams one more, but I think there's a good chance just like you said, this is one of those Clint Capella games where 4 minutes in, 6 and 6, and it's like, oh, we're sitting good. So I like that. And then if you had to pick a side, give me Atlanta. 6-1 in their last 7 games ATS at home, and I just can't back this Indiana team.
Hawks have to win games too, right? Like they're not.
Yep, they have to win games to get back in the playoff picture.
Yeah, like I like betting on those teams right now. Like one team I've been doing it with is the Bucks a little bit, just because like, dude, like you gotta win right now. Like, and they understand like, hey, like we don't want Cleveland to somehow like sneak ahead of us or something.
And you got to think that locker room's just kind of like, I wouldn't say in shambles, but like all they've heard about are trade talks. Now one of the main guys gets dealt out. You got a couple other guys sitting in that room that are still waiting to get dealt out. They're not looking to play this game.
All right. Well, remember, thank you everybody for watching. If you want to be the opposite of the Sacramento Kings and run pure, make sure you head on over to Run Pure Sports and join us. Use the promo code. What is it right now? SB56, because that's going to get you the bet side too, right, Travis?
Yep. That gets you everything. Get you the Sabres, get you all the stuff. And if you're a sports fan, I say it every time. If you're a sports fan, this is the place to be. Embrace yourself into it. Like, get in the Discord. It's the perfect time right now. We got all the sports going on. The only time you can argue is not the perfect time is maybe baseball here. Like maybe baseball. Like it's just because it's like
this guy's printing baseball though.
What?
Baseball.
I mean, we got our guy Joey working the chat.
Yeah, of course.
Taking a shit on
I guess I'm saying like just
unbelievable.
No, not because of that. I'm not dissing Joey. I'm just saying like what's like the lamest time of year? It's like maybe like mid-July.
August.
Like that was the argument.
August is rough. All right. But if you're a Kings fan, it's rough 12 months out of the year. The Houston Rockets plus 9.5 now against the Pelicans. Tyler, I like the dog here. We love the Rockets and their ability to score. The Pelicans also sent out some pieces today. They will be a little shorthanded, and still they're taking money. Boy, Brandon Ingram, I know he's been on fire. He averaged 36.5 points in the 2 games against the Rockets so far this season. But still, 9.5 seems too much. I think this game goes over. I think there's a lot of points, and I think the Rockets keep it close. Tyler, start with you on this one. What do you think?
I mean, just like you said, Ingram's killed this team in both matchups he's played against them. Rockets are another team. They got a bunch of guys in that locker room that might get dealt here in the next 2 days.
Well, I haven't heard any rumors about them.
I mean, Eric
Who would
Gordon.
They trade?
Eric Gordon, contender. They have him. I've heard.
They probably don't even hang out with Eric Gordon. That's like me and you hanging out, right? He's so much older than the rest of them.
I've heard contenders are calling on Jayshawn Tate.
Oh wow, okay.
So they could do that. I just don't. I think New Orleans got their number. The way they're playing this big lineup too, like they're just going to feast on the inside. Ingram's going to eat this team up. 24.5 on his points prop. Give me the over there. The 30+ and win. I like that at like plus 300. And you could do the 3+ threes and then win at about plus 600. I like them both.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much they're hanging out with Eric Gordon in the locker room, right? He's probably trying to turn off Travis Scott and put on Scarface, and they're probably like, come on, old man, get out of here. Travis, what do you think of this game?
Yeah, I wonder with that Pelican trade if like the Nickeil Alexander-Walker thing happened because they traded Mr. Jose Alvarado or whatever his name is. Like, I wonder if that's one of the reasons, like his emergence kind of caused that. I do worry sometimes, like on these like teams like the Pelicans, like when they do make these trades, like some of these, even though they're fringe guys, like it can add up. So a lean would be the Rockets if I had to, but like this is a great stay away game. You don't have to bet every single game. No parlays here for me, spread. I'm out on this game. Not excited. And then DFS wise though, we should talk about it because I think it's important when you ship guys out of town, you get tighter rotations. Brandon Ingram, I like some of his overs. I think that's a good call. I think Tyler mentioned that. You see them doing this double big thing, and I think you see the Rockets kind of like shake hands and want to do the double big thing as well. And Jackson Hayes at 5'5". still has a pretty good ceiling. Brandon Ingram is 9.2, which is kind of an expensive tag, but you could get away with it on this slate. I don't think you need to do it, though. I think there's other studs I'd rather go to. And then Valanciunas, if you do think it gets big, like Valanciunas certainly can get the job done. But the problem is you worry about Hayes maybe eating into his rebound some. So that's a slight concern. And I am curious to see what they do with like the bench guys, right? Like, does someone else slide in the starting lineup? Like, I don't know. Does Devontae Graham somehow go to the bench? I doubt it, but maybe they feel like they need some scoring where like they put like him on the bench instead, where they kind of keep him away from Ingram. It could be something that they decide to do, but I highly doubt it. Not a game I'm really trying to go to too much. I know the emergence of Sengun has been good DFS wise. He has 4.5K now. That's a way big difference between 3.4K where he was in the past. Kevin Porter Jr., 5.6K. There's upside in tournaments at that price where you can take the shot, but understand there is still some downside for him. And if the shot's not falling, it can definitely be brutal. So him and Jalen Green are guys you could mix and match throughout your lineups if you want to do a run back on the Pelicans. But again, this is not the greatest game on the slate. There's other ones we liked earlier on. There's other ones we're going to like later. So just kind of calling out some guys that have some decent price tags.
Yeah, it's really rough when you roster Kevin Porter Jr. and you find out he just went home at halftime. So always a worry there with KPJ. Anything else on this game, Tyler, before we move on?
No, that's it for me.
Let's go to the Clippers. Heading to Memphis to take on the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies -8. Total is 227. Clippers just got Norman Powell. They just got Rocco. This team doesn't give up. I mean, I think that Ballmer, like, I think he has more money than like the bottom 16 owners combined or something. Like, he's just like flaunting on everyone with this luxury tax deal. And so that's how they were able to basically just keep trying to win, even when their two best players are out. So I don't really know what to make of this team. They really try hard. They really fight hard. I think Tyronn Lue proved me wrong. I can't believe that he was a coach. I'm like, how did the guy that gets stepped over by Iverson end up becoming a coach? But he's proved to me that this kid he's not a kid anymore, but this guy is a great coach. So we always got to give that in the Clippers' favor. But on the other hand, Memphis has been one of the hottest teams in the NBA. I think this line is about right, even though I don't necessarily trust my Clippers number. Felt like the line was right. I'm staying away for right now. Travis, what do you think?
Yeah, we are part of Clippers University, but not as much this year, Spread. It has not been a fun ride, but Steve Ballmer, he's still fighting with that franchise. Maybe it's because he likes the sweat equity. I don't know. He loves going to games and cheering them on. Maybe that's the reason why he keeps paying that tax. I don't know what they're gonna do with the starting lineup. And the other thing I don't know is like, it feels like they're just running like this like hockey-like rotation where like they're keeping Powell and Covington off the bench. Like, this is not friendly for DFS. I am definitely out on this unless some of these guys are starting and get a better role. So I don't think this is a good spot for DFS. John Morant at 10-1. You could always make an argument for these studs, but I just don't think it's the right spot for him. They've gotten a little bit healthier where it's hurt some of the ball handling. So I just think I'm fully out on this game from a DFS perspective. And betting wise, the number is pretty good. I would lean going on the Clippers +8 if I had to. They're just playing really good basketball. And I think one thing that plays in their favor is having that like really decent second unit to be able to beat up some other second units could help them, at least in like the future. I do worry Memphis is not the spot where they have that bad second unit to beat up enough. But I do think when you see these, if you see them still run out these starting lineups over like the next week or two, if you can catch the Clippers against a team that has a really bad bench, I think the Clippers could be a really good team to target betting wise over like the next couple of weeks.
All right. Yeah, I definitely like that. I just don't think tonight is the night for the Clippers. Tyler, well, you've had problems with Memphis. I've been loving Memphis this year, but 8 seems to be the right number to me here. I could see this one almost being like the Phoenix game last night, right? Where, you know, they lose the cover at the end, but the victory's never in doubt. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have that number closer to like a 5, like you said. Mm-hmm. But if you had to pin me down, I'd probably lay the 8 with them. I mean, outside of that Philly game, they screwed me in. The only other losses they have in their last 10 are to Dallas and Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. Dallas was on a back-to-back in a third game in 4 nights. And Milwaukee, we know how good they are. So other than that, they're 3-0 straight up in ATS at home. The Clips give up 51 points in the paint in their last 5 games. You got to think that means John Morant's going to have a big game here. And centers absolutely dominate them. They're averaging 30 and 17 against them. I'm not targeting Steven Adams on a double-double here, but Jaren Jackson to score 20 when he put up 18 and 26 in his 2 matchups against them this year. I like that at +190.
Jaren Jackson Jr. His development this year has been quite intriguing, right? So for those guys who want to,
and this is also that spot spread where if say the Clippers do play him well and they're using that small ball, they'll pull Adams off the floor and he'll run the center minutes, so he'll play a bit more minutes too.
And I think that's quite the possibility tonight. I think Adams might just mirror Zubac there. And once they go small, I think you got a great spot there. Jaren Jackson Jr., as I say, we want to give up on Alexander Walker. Jackson Jr. is an example of why you don't give up on these guys, right? They're coming out at 19.
Of the year.
I mean, I know that was
he was like 50-1. Now he's down to 10-1. And there's really not a guy ahead. Like Draymond's the favorite. He hasn't played in like a month.
And he's not coming back this month either. So you can almost throw him out.
Gobert's behind him. He hasn't played. And then it's Giannis.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 10-1, I think it might be worth a shot with the guys who are in front of him.
Yeah, I think it'll really depend on if you think that Memphis can get top 3 seed in the West, because if so, he's got a good chance. 4 or less, I think it goes to Giannis. The Detroit Pistons plus 12 in Dallas taking on the Mavericks. No real Pistons news, right? We expected to see Jeremy Grant get moved, but haven't heard anything yet. I see Cade Cunningham questionable, Sterling Brown questionable, Maxi Kleber probable, Kristaps Porzingis out once again. Boy, what a fleece! Talk about fleecing someone. That contract for Porzingis, unbelievable. Can't believe he's getting paid like that. Dallas has to be regretting that trade every single morning, regardless. They're big favorites tonight. What do you think, Travis?
Yeah, definitely not my favorite game on the slate from a DFS perspective. We do have that Cade Cunningham news that could come, but is that going to change much for me? Not really. I mean, this is still the Pistons. We have so many great value plays. I'm out on the Pistons. The only thing I'm going to mention 3 guys on the Dallas side that I think are in play. Luka, obviously in play at 12.2K. I know Maxi Kleber's back at 4.3. I don't need to go him. If he was forward eligible, I'd have more interest, but not excited to roster him. Jalen Brunson at 6.9. Not a bad option. I prefer Anthony Simons over him, but I would not tell you it's a bad idea to play Brunson. And then one last guy to mention, I know the price has gone up. He's 5.6K, but spread. Who does not like a little revenge? Reggie Bullock revenge. He's been playing some good basketball. Let's at least talk about that. He has not been that bad. Price has gone up to 5.6. Let me see what FanDuel's, because maybe FanDuel's gotten better, but
isn't this like a revenge game? Because wasn't he on Detroit like 2 teams ago? He came from the Knicks.
He went Detroit, Knicks, and then right? If I'm right, I think he signed with the Knicks as a free agent.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I can't remember. I had just pulled it up because I wanted to just double check and make sure. But yeah, Bullock is, he has been really good. So the price is getting up there, but and there's better values. But I'm just, guys, if you're playing 150, if you happen to fall on them as like a differentiation, I wouldn't hate it. But I really do like Luka as a spend up. But I do worry, could you lose that 4th quarter rotation? And if you do lose that rotation, that could hurt you with Luka, but he could also get there and have 70 fantasy points. So he's definitely a good stud, especially when we're going to be playing a lot of values. Definitely someone you want to consider getting under your lineups today.
Tyler, do you think that the Kings fans will regret this trade more or passing Luka more?
Probably passing Luka.
That's what I'm thinking too. All right. Yeah, see, it could be worse, right? Take me back to 2018. Tyler, let's talk about teams that should have covered and ruined our night last night. The New York Knicks, man, what were they doing? How did they not cover that game against the Jazz? They were doing so good. I don't
hold on. I got to get my take on the Dallas games, Fred.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to start trashing the Knicks.
Is there even a good take here, Tyler?
I just had a couple props I liked.
Let's hear them. We want to hear them.
Detroit really doesn't have a big man to stop Luka from getting 10 boards here. Over 9.5 is even money. I'll take a shot on that.
Okay.
And he's been chucking up a lot of threes, and he has games where he makes a ton of them. This game shouldn't be close. This is one of them games where he might just chuck 10 to 13 threes because he knows at any moment if he has to take the game over, he can do it. Over 2.5, again, even money. I'll gladly take a shot on that. And then his triple-double and win at about plus 280 would be my plays in this game.
Yeah, might as well go for that. But let's talk about your Knicks. I already gave the intro. They broke our – they really upset us last night. What happened there, and what do we do with them catching 9.5 in Denver tonight on the altitude back-to-back?
I'll tell you what we do with them, spread. Halftime, full-time, we take them to win the first half, Denver to win the game because they've led it both games on this road trip at halftime, and then they blow the game late. They're going to come out on fire with their heads caught on fire right here against Denver. They're going to go up 10. We're going to see them at halftime winning, but they have a chance. and then Denver's going to storm back and win the game. That's my take on this game.
Tyler's calling the New York Knicks the TV show Lost. He says, they're just great, terrible ending. What do you think?
Oh, I agree with you. I definitely am down to trash the Knicks. I don't know if Joey Work is still here. Again, I did not mean what I said. I was saying it in a different way. My bad, Joey Work. But I'm not going to apologize for trashing your Knicks, and I'm not going to apologize for betting the Rams and the Nuggets money line last night. I'm not going to apologize. I ran so good. Mitch Robinson's out, second night of back-to-back in Denver. It's got all the trends with it, right? All the good stuff. And I did almost bet against the Knicks last night, but I was scared to because just Shaquille O'Neal was playing for the Knicks, and I was a little nervous that the job could get done, but the Jazz closed it out. DFS-wise, Tibbs, he plays his starters. And, I mean, is Taj Gibson a thing today at 3.5K at the season? I think it's viable. I don't know if it's something
I shouldn't even be laughing because you're dead serious, but just we're talking about Taj Gibson, and I just checked Tyler. I mean, it's 2022.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it why he's on the team.
Brett, imagine I go to the bar tonight. I sit down, I say, get the Nuggets game on and the Knicks game on, and you see Taj Gibson make a sky hook, and I'm like, yes, I'm pumping my fists and I'm excited. Just imagine you're watching me, you're like, why is this dude cheering on?
You see him posterize Jokic because he can't protect the rim.
Yeah, Jokic is definitely in for a good night. If you want to spend up, he's not bad, but just depends if you want to soak up that center spot. I always talk about it. You can only play 2 centers, and that could obviously mess some stuff up. The price is good, though. I think he is on the FanDuel. Let's see. He is, let's see the price, 11.5 on FanDuel, but DK, where the triple doubles were valued, 12.6, which is a little tougher, but I like the Nuggets to roll here. I think they're going to definitely do really, really well. The Knicks, I do not like them in this spot, though. I like some DFS guys. I like Kemba Walker at 4-1 a little. I need him to start for sure, which there's a chance he does not start, which could be a massive, massive concern. So I need to know that. That'll be very important. But if he does get that, the minutes are going to all be there. So I do think this Knicks team has some DFS value on it. Emmanuel Quickley could start. That could be a guy that you could say, hey, if he happens to start, I doubt Tibbs will do it. He could be a value. RJ Barrett has been great. On FanDuel, his price is a little bit better, so I wouldn't mind him. And I don't think it just becomes the Julius Randle show. That is one of my concerns. I'm not going to spend my salary on Julius Randle today. I'm going to spend it on some other guy. So between the Nuggets and between the Knicks, this is a game that it's got some DFS value, but not as much as some other spots as we're kind of getting to later on and earlier as well.
Travis, yesterday, did you hear the take that caused Big T's return to the rundown by Tyler?
Yeah, it's not Tyler's best take, but you give it a shot. So.
Did you want to chime in on that, or should we just move on?
I got a show later.
We're gonna move on.
We'll stay for next week.
All right, we'll table that. I don't know if NBA they're going to continue to do these heavy Tuesdays, but we like it. I like this game though. I've kind of been wishy-washy on a lot of these games, and hey, right, I'm in shock. Right, the people watch me every day. They understand what us in Sacramento are going through right now. So, they're being real forgiving on me not having to take. But I am quite down to take the Milwaukee Bucks at -3.5 against the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers have been playing better as of late, but I think the Bucks just match up with them so well, right? They have the size, to kind of mess with LeBron, to mess with AD here. And this is a team that, while everyone else is kind of, getting worn down, they're 2-0 on this road trip so far. They've won both games by over 20 points. Of course, it was against the Blazers and the Clippers, but I use that to illustrate that they are taking this seriously. They're not cruising into the All-Star break. They have no trade rumors swirling around them, and they don't have a $44 million player that they need to bench in order to win overtime games. Give me the Bucks. What do you think, Travis?
Yeah, sorry, I'm distracted. I read the NBA chat, and apparently the Blazers are in talks about getting Jeremy Grant. What?
Yeah, I see that. That's got to be a matching salary somewhere because they're trying to get under the luxury tax.
So did they get under the luxury tax when they traded Covington?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. My mind's blown.
If they did, his contract would push it right back over. So you have to match it.
I don't get it. Nurkic.
Anyways, you mentioned the Bucks and Lakers. That's the game we're on.
Yeah, I like the Bucks. I threw a little Westbrook slander in there to end it. That was the crux.
I have been betting the Bucks, but I got a little nervous too because it does. I did feel like the LeBron, we got to start getting right vibes where you kind of see it coming, and I wouldn't be surprised. There's a bunch of games on this slate you can bet. I just thought this was a good stay away for me. I did not mess with this game at all. DFS wise, you can always make a good case for Giannis and these other studs to mix and match, but there's no real value plays. I'm running the roster in this game.
Tyler, Travis says stay away. I'm on Team Bucks. We already know where Jonathan Nelson's at. Break the tie.
Give me Team Bucks here, spread.
Woohoo!
Neither team's really playing defense lately in their last 5 games. They're giving up tons of points, so I kind of like the over here. But Milwaukee's offense, those last 5 games, they're top 10 in field goal percentage, 3-point attempts, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage. And you look at what the Lakers have done. Yeah, they've won some games. It took a heroic performance from LeBron his first game back to beat a Knicks team. So
yeah, and that's the other part of the handicap,
this ain't the
right?
same matchup. Drew Holiday is going to have his way because Russ ain't playing no defense, and neither is Monk. If Monk catches fire, which he can, I think they throw Holiday right to him and tries to lock him up. So, and then you look at the Lakers offense in this same span when their defense is playing bad. The only top 15 shooting stat they hold is 3-point percentage.
And that's thanks to Monk, right?
Yes, it's thanks to one guy. So give me the Bucks here at the short number. Power forwards and centers have dominated them lately. Bobby Portis, Giannis are just going to eat them up. Go right back to those guys, double-doubles and wins. Portis 15+ and win, and Giannis 30+ and win.
I like both those. Travis, you did mention we do have a show coming up over on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed to them both. But while you're doing that, gives this show a thumbs up, just in solidarity with the pain that I feel as a Sacramento Kings fan. The Orlando Magic are +1 in Portland, taking on the Trailblazers, who made that big trade for McCollum today. Anthony Simons season. I don't care, dude. I'm not taking the Magic on the road. I'll take the Magic at home. I'm not taking them on the road. But Portland can sit everybody and pull out the Portland G League team, and I'd probably take Portland here. What do you think?
Not so fast, my friend. Spread. I got Magic money line with the Rams, baby.
Wait,
I'm in on the Magic. I mean, I ran pretty good with the trades and working out, but the Magic, I think, are a way. They're one of those teams that they're starting to find their way. They're not a great team, but they are starting to gel and come together. They had guys that were hurt. I think you got one team that's going absolutely the other way, and you got one team that's a young team that's thriving and grinds out games. I mean, the Magic, even when they're down, they'll be down like 40. They're still playing their guys. So I like the Magic here. I got them at like +140. Now I think it's basically like a pick 'em. I think they're +1. I don't know what the money line is. It might be like +106 or something like that. But I like the Magic here in this spot. I understand Portland's been a better team at home, but man, this team is just not good. This Portland team that they have. And like, you're going to count on like Dennis Smith Jr., Ellaby, Ben McElmore, Trent Wofford, Justice Winslow, all guys I want to play in DFS. I want to play like Anthony Simons is solid too, but all guys I'm considering. I need the starting lineup. That's very important and valuable as well. But this Magic team, call me crazy, Spread. I think they just win outright, and I like them here in this spot. So give me the Magic as a team that upsets tonight.
All right. Too bad Travis didn't parlay the Kings making a stupid move with the Rams. Tyler, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I got this baby blue hoodie on for a reason, Spread. It's Magic money line tonight.
Oh, my gosh.
Let's go, Tyler. Tyler's on board.
Yeah, you look at this matchup now. There's nobody on the floor that's going to be able to stop the big men for the Magic. These young guards are just going to go right at Portland. Wagner's going to have his way with the wings, too. You can get him 15+ points and then win the game at 2-1. That's what I'm betting in this game tonight now that the line's down from the +140. Because I think if they win, he's going to have to kill their wings. It could be Suggs in them, or it could be Bamba and Carter eating them on the inside. But even that, I think Wagner can get us to 15. So 15+ points in the win for Orlando for me.
Also, Mo Bamba he's gonna pull away Nurkic from that paint a little bit more, which that can cause problems for big men where like there's some confusion for them. They don't know where to go. And like, man, like we've seen Mo Bamba, we saw him drop 50 fantasy points against Joel Embiid. Like that sounds crazy, but it has happened this year. He could easily do it against a guy like Nurkic. So I could see Portland too. Like they just gave up CJ McCollum. Like, you know,
there's background beef in that matchup with him and Embiid though. They've never liked each other.
Sure. But like, again, I still think like this seems like a good spot. Like I like the trade deadline when like there's all these things going on. Cause like, I do feel like the lines don't adjust properly for some of these teams. And I think this is one that Portland, I think they should be dogs here, as crazy as it sounds. Portland has never shown what has Portland ever shown you this year that they're a great team? Like, sure, they were good at home for that like really nice stretch, but like that was when they were like more like loaded with like Dame and all those guys. Like this team is just not the same. If people are gonna buy on the Portland at home narrative, like this team is so different. No chance.
All right. That magical breakdown brought to you by Run Pure Sports. Make sure you become a member. Use the promo code SB56. The final game of the night.
Before you do that, Spread.
Yeah.
Set odds on Mangone having this game parlayed to the Rams.
Minus 375.
I'm going minus 1,500 because this game was -4 before the trade.
So I almost did it. I was very
close. Wow, you didn't do it.
I didn't do it. This is why I didn't do it. I looked at the injury report.
Because he was out of money. He had already parlayed his house to the Rams.
You pulled the trigger on the magic money line before the T-Wolves at -4.
Yeah, because I was really nervous about like all the questionable tags. The Timberwolves have so many guys questionable that I just didn't know what would happen. So I kind of just got too nervous about it, and I said, "All right, let's wait on that." But I did surprise you guys there with that. This is a game that I wish I was on before, but I also worried about like the Timberwolves. And of course, I wish I knew that Halliburton was there, right? Now he's not. Like when I was looking at this the night before, I just know the Timberwolves aren't playing great defense. And like, of course, if you miss a Patrick Beverley and a D-Russ, as crazy as it sounds, D-Russ has been great defensively this year. I just had some fears the Kings could find a way to get the job done and like close that out. So I was a little cautious with this game. And I don't know. Do you guys think Fox and Bagley plays? I think that matters too here in this spot. Cause like if those guys don't play, like DFS wise, how am I not playing all these Kings? Like, how am I not? Like if Fox doesn't play, like you're going to have to.
I think Fox has to play.
I don't know if he will.
I don't have many other guards. I mean, maybe they do piece together something for a game, but one of those two guys has to dress, I think.
When I was watching, because I'll post those little like workout videos on King's Twitter, he didn't look very mobile in the practice. He was out there shooting, but he wasn't really doing much.
He said it's a pain tolerance thing. So like that leads me to think he can play if he wants to, but like I think Davion Mitchell could be like a 5'4". Like he's something that you could like wait on and like people might not go to him as much. And like maybe they like go all these cheaper Portland guys where like Mitchell could have a massive game, especially if Fox doesn't play. So there's definitely value here. And Harrison Barnes has been playing some really good basketball. The only worry I have with Harrison Barnes in this spot is like, how much of that was Halliburton being a threat and setting him up more so and getting the spacing? That spacing might not be there as much. That could be a really big concern, but there's more usage and shots to go to a Harrison Barnes way. So if you need him at the forward spot, I don't hate it, but we got to get the Fox and Bagley news. I think that's very important here.
Yeah, I mean, the King spacing is going to be more clogged than like a hippie shower after the commune. This is unbelievable. The pain tolerance, I mean, is it the pain in his ankle or the pain from just working for the most inept franchise in all of sports? I mean, there might be a worse one in hockey, but I don't know hockey. Maybe I almost did an NHL rundown today. That's how upset I was, Tyler.
You sound like me last year when I would tilt the NBA.
Well, Spread, there's one in football. I mean, the Detroit Lions, I mean... would you rather be a Lions fan? Like if you had to pick a team to get married to, Lions or Kings? You have white chocolate in the Chris Webber years. I mean, you weren't the Lions and had Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders, and just literally not anything came from it.
Yeah, that's true. All right. But before I break down like my slow computer here, trying to calculate which one would be worse, Tyler, break down this game.
Yeah, I mean, just like you were just saying, or Mangone was saying, how much of Halliburton setting up this offense and that being helping these guys out. He was top 10 in potential assists for the entire season. The only names ahead of him, Chris Paul, James Harden, Luka, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, Garland, Lowry, Russ, Draymond Green. He's one of the best passers in the league right now, and they just dealt him for a 2-year big man. Their offense, unless Mitchell just comes on the floor and just runs the show out of nowhere, which he could do, but I think he's more of the defense in the 3 right now.
Yep. It's
just, I got to take Minnesota here. The Kings also can't cover the 3-point line. They're ranked 21st in opponents' 3-point percentage. Minnesota's second in their own 3-point percentage in the league over the last 5 games, and 3rd in field goal percentage. They're going to eat this team up. I'd lay up to 10 in this game spread.
I'm gonna be curious to see how the fan reaction is tonight too, because I went on to King's Reddit and it felt like going to an online funeral, to be honest. But there's a lot of people planning to bring signs, planning to boo. Might be interesting if you can catch the starting lineups there.
It feels like a good alt line spread, right? Like to put the alt line down, like even a 15 or even further, like just because you could see this just go real south quick with a lot of stuff you were talking about.
Yeah, this could definitely get ugly.
Yeah, I mean, what are the odds that Alvin Gentry's drinking tonight, right? All right, let us move on to the best bets. We will start with you, Travis. What's your best bet today? Side total prop.
Yeah, I'm going to be on the Magic money line. Tyler, you can hop on too. You have more bets than me, but it's Magic money line. We're going to call it a day with that. I feel good about them getting the job done, and don't be afraid to all the parlays I sprinkled in. If you want to sprinkle them in, throw them in there. There's a lot of good ones today. You may have lost some of the value, but I still think it's solid. But I like the Magic money line a lot. That's the one that I'm on, and excited to see if that can get home, because when you bet the Magic, man, like you're definitely making you're taking a strong stand there.
Yeah, and if the Rams win on Sunday, Travis, you might be heading to Magic City with all those tickets. Tyler, what's your best bet for the day, side total or prop?
I got for the prop, it's going to be Jaren Jackson over 20 plus points. You're getting that at about plus 150 because his points prop sits at about 16.5. I just think he has a big game right here. You could do the 20 plus and win it plus 190 as a performance double. As for the side, give me the Suns money line. I think they're just going to go with that route of just letting Embiid eat and just locking everyone else down. They're going to win that game. So I like those two.
All right. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have to tap in to myself being a Kings fan tonight, because when you can't root for your team, what can you do? Hate on the Lakers. Give me the Milwaukee Bucks minus 3.5. That's all we got as Kings fans. Root against the Lakers. Watch Westbrook blow it at the end. Like Tyler said, they barely beat the Knicks. Now they go against the defending champs. I like Giannis and company to get it done. Tyler, while we were talking, did you come up with some crazy parlay to help me win enough money to move to a different city?
I didn't, but we could throw one together right now. I mean, Phoenix, we like them. Devin Booker, 30 plus points. Phoenix wins 3-1 right there.
Okay.
I liked Robert Williams to get a double-double when Boston beat Brooklyn. We'll add that in. That's plus 270. And we like Magic money line. I like Wagner to get 15 plus. We'll throw that in there at 2-1. That gets us, where's his name at? 42-1.
42-1, almost enough for me to afford this moving truck and get out of this disaster of a city. Travis, thank you so much for coming on today, consoling me. Sometimes when things go bad in your life, Travis, you just need someone to talk to. So I appreciate you being there for me. And for the rest of the viewers, remember, this is brought to you by Run Pure Sports. Use the promo code SB56 to become a member. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Any other words that I missed, Travis?
No, check me out on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. In 7 minutes and spread, I'll give you the one bet I did, and the odds are different right now, but this was a 5-teamer I threw in. We went Hawks money line, Celtics money line, Nuggets, Magic, Rams. We got the old 7.5-1. So that's what I got last night. If you want to tail it, it will not be as great of odds because of all the movement that's happened. But if you want to join on board with me on the Rams train, we'll do that. And hopefully Joey B does not light a cigar on me on Super Bowl Sunday.
All right. And if anyone needs me, I will be in morning until tomorrow. But hey, I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same channel with Hoop, where I can ask him how terrible is my franchise. And hey, he's from Detroit, Travis, so he can help answer that tough question that you asked that I'll be pondering all night. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and Run